The Krellian Empire had ruled the Andromeda sector for 3,000 years. Their ships were forged from quantum-locked metals that could withstand the heat of dying stars. Their shields had turned back every invasion force in recorded history. Admiral Zexthor stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dominion, watching the sensor displays with the confidence of someone who had never known defeat. "The human fleet has entered the system," his tactical officer reported, mandibles clicking nervously. Zexthor's four eyes narrowed. Humans, the upstart species that had refused to kneel when the Empire demanded tribute. The primitives who still used chemical propulsion when they first reached their moon. They had been given a choice: submit or be eradicated. They had chosen neither. "How many ships?" Zexthor asked. 12 capital vessels, Admiral. Approximately 200 support craft." The bridge crew erupted in clicking laughter. The Empire had assembled 400 warships for this engagement, the largest fleet in a generation. This would be a massacre, a lesson to every species in the galaxy about what happened when you defied the Krellian Empire. "Broadcast on all frequencies," Zexthor commanded. "Tell the humans they have one final chance to surrender." Aboard the human flagship Defiance, Captain Emma Torres stood with her hands clasped behind her back, her dark eyes fixed on the view screen showing the massive Krellian fleet arrayed before them. Around her, the bridge crew worked in focused silence, their training evident in every precise movement. "Admiral Zexthor is hailing us," Communications Officer Elijah Chen reported. "Standard surrender demand." "He seems quite confident." Emma's lips curved into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Of course he is. They've won every war they've ever fought. They think we're just another conquest." "Should I respond, Captain?" "No. Actions speak louder than words, Lieutenant. Besides, we're already past the point of talking." Emma had studied the Krellians for years. Their empire was built on overwhelming force and technological superiority. They had never faced an enemy that truly understood them, that had spent decades analyzing every battle they'd ever fought, every tactic they'd ever employed. The Krellians made war like a formula, predictable and efficient. Humans made war like an art form, chaotic, adaptive, and utterly unpredictable. "Weapon status?" Emma asked. Elijah checked his console. "All rail cannons charged. Missile tubes loaded. The new prototype systems are online and ready." He paused, then added quietly, "Captain, they outnumber us nearly 30-1. If this doesn't work..." "It will work," Emma interrupted, her voice carrying absolute certainty. "Because they don't understand what they're facing. They think we're prey. They're about to learn that humans are predators." The Krellian fleet moved into attack formation, a massive crescent designed to envelop and overwhelm. It was a formation they had used successfully for centuries. As their ships accelerated forward, their shield harmonics synchronized into an impenetrable wall of energy. Then the humans did something unexpected. They scattered. "What are they doing?" Zexthor demanded as the human ships broke formation, each vessel heading in a different direction at maximum thrust. "Are they fleeing?" "Negative, Admiral. I don't understand their pattern. It appears random. It wasn't random." Emma had divided her fleet into hunting packs, each group designed to exploit specific weaknesses in Krellian technology that no other species had ever bothered to find. While the Empire relied on synchronized shields for maximum protection, that synchronization required constant communication between ships. "Lieutenant Chen, execute Ghost Protocol," Emma ordered. Elijah's fingers danced across his console. Throughout the human fleet, experimental quantum jammers activated, devices that didn't just block communications but created phantom signals, making each Krellian ship believe it was receiving valid data from its neighbors when it was actually receiving carefully crafted lies. The synchronized shields began to fluctuate, creating microsecond gaps in coverage. Microseconds were all the humans needed. Rail cannons fired, their projectiles traveling at relativistic speeds. These weren't ordinary slugs. They were designed to exploit the exact harmonic frequency at which Krellian shields became transparent. The Empire's impenetrable defense was suddenly Swiss cheese. The first Krellian ship exploded in a brilliant flash. Then another. Then 10 more. "Impossible," Zexthor roared, watching his fleet's cohesion collapse. "Their weapons shouldn't penetrate our shields." But they did. Again and again, human weapons found their marks with surgical precision. The Empire's numerical advantage meant nothing when their formations dissolved into chaos, each ship unable to coordinate with its neighbors. each captain making independent decisions that conflicted with others. The humans, meanwhile, operated with eerie synchronization. They didn't need constant communication. They had trained for this, war-gamed every scenario, trusted each other implicitly. Each hunting pack knew exactly what the others would do because they understood the plan, the strategy, the goal. Emma watched as her fleet carved through the Krellian formation like wolves through a herd. Target their command ship. All batteries concentrate fire. The Eternal Dominion shuddered as dozens of railgun rounds hammered its shields. Zexthor felt fear for the first time in his long military career. The humans weren't just fighting, they were dominating. Every move they made was calculated, every shot precisely placed. All ships fall back, he ordered. Reform it, the command ship's shields failed. A single missile, carrying a human innovation called a shaped nuclear charge, penetrated the hull and detonated inside the reactor core. The flagship of the Krellian Empire, the vessel that had led 1,000 conquests, became an expanding cloud of superheated plasma. 3 hours later, it was over. Emma stood on the bridge of the Defiance, looking at the debris field that had been an Imperial fleet. Not a single Krellian ship had escaped. Her own fleet had taken damage but suffered no losses. "Captain," Elijah said softly, "we're receiving transmissions from across the sector. Every species that the Krellians conquered is asking about what happened here." "Tell them the truth," Emma replied. "Tell them that the Krellian Empire encountered humanity. Tell them that we don't conquer, we liberate. And tell them that any species that threatens Earth or her allies will face the same fate." She turned to face her crew, seeing the exhaustion and pride in their eyes. "We didn't come to the stars to dominate. We came to explore, to learn, to grow. But we will never kneel. Not to the Krellians, not to anyone. We are humanity and we bow to no empire." The bridge erupted in cheers. Across the galaxy, the news spread like wildfire. The invincible Krellian Empire had been annihilated by a species that had barely reached the stars. Other aggressive civilizations suddenly reconsidered their expansionist policies. The predators of the galaxy had discovered that Earth's children were apex predators of a different order. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same. End.